Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, Talk Tuesday. We're at the straight road. No harvest today. They were harvesting some of the fields yesterday, but not today, so it's a pretty calm walk. It's a beautiful day. So the dogs are full of beans. It's good weather, like it's sunny and it's cool, so lots of things to investigate. So what do we have here? We've got 10 today, I think. We've got Tucker way up in the front. Maggie, I think that's Stella. Yeah, Stella. Newton, Archie, Hamish. Cosmo just ran up there. We've got a Nova, Phoebe, and a Murphy bringing up the rear. If you can see him in his red shirt, which remarkably isn't covered in mud yet. Go. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm just going to cover briefly a couple of questions from last week. And in this video. So if you haven't seen last week's video, I was pretty excited to get that sort of body language scenario happening on film. So definitely go check it out. But in the meantime, I did have questions like, do I always shut down zoomies in general? And no, absolutely not. Like, you guys have witnessed, in particular, Tucker zoomies a lot. Because usually the stretch is when he'll do the chase me zoomies. It's all about the energy of it. You gotta keep in mind that dogs that are in like a zoomy state of mind, they are not going to make good life choices. They're not thinking at all. They're just having fun, right? Like they're having fun and they're enjoying the feeling of running around. So if they run into another dog or they shoulder another dog, something that normally they wouldn't do because it's not polite, it's not good manners, and it is something that could set another dog off, they're like not even thinking about that. They don't care. And then dog fights happen, right? So, and that one in particular, you would notice a huge disconnect between the dogs. Like Stella was in her own world, Newton was in his own world. Cosmo was being a bit of an instigator. And then Hamish, of course, like as soon as the energy shifts, you see the other dogs shift with it. So I do, again, managing the energy, right? I do my level best to make sure that all play is fun play and that no one is ever playing in a way that is going to irritate other dogs, right? And you'll even notice if you go back to this time last year, there's a complete shift in play style too. Because last year we had several puppies, right? Like Maggie was still a puppy, Kronk was still a puppy. And right now, all we really have is Newton, who's still in his puppy phase. Oh, geez. See, and there's a Stella zoomie. And you can see the dog's joining in. She's coming to check with me. And she's going. And like, all I do when zoomies happen like that is I watch the body language. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you. Murphy dog, out of there. Oh, too late. Well, at least it was just black paws. Okay. Really, Stella? You had to remind him of that spot. And even here, see, like, Newton, Maggie, that's fine. Body language is fine. It's nice and loose. Cosmo's staying out of it. And again, I try to keep them in pairs, right? 2's fine. 3, I start to keep an eye on. If it's like a bigger group, again, I just keep an eye on the body language and watch who's stiffening up and who's not. And if there's any sort of stiffening, then that one gets pulled out of the zoomie. And keep in mind, like, I don't really let them play like that until I have complete recall and even out. Because you'll notice in last week's video, like, Cosmo started to get a little crotchety, but the second I set out, he immediately stopped everything and went towards me. So, like, that's what I'm looking for in an off-leash dog. Hi! So they don't get to go fully off leash until I get that response. And it's just purely a safety thing. Like, I need to be able to call him out of anything, right? Yeah, I see what's happening here. So here's a good example of, okay, and you're immediately going to stop. But like you can see, one really wants to play. Nova, stop eating grass. And like Nova just kept saying no. And he's gotten a lot better. When we first started dealing with that, he would just keep insisting on play. Now he goes and he checks out. So now he's testing her and he's testing me. Thank you. Cosmo, don't get involved. It's not your problem. So now he's sort of learned that he can just go play with somebody else. So he just looks for other people to play with. And he's gotten a lot better at boundaries. He's still a little on the girls, which we're still working on, but overall he's pretty good. And because I don't have that 100% out and 100% recall, he's still on the long line. Because if I need to interfere, I can. And I don't have to be close to him to do it. Okay, that took a lot longer than I meant, because I also got a question this week about recall skills. So things that you can practice on walk. Now, obviously, I do have a rock solid recall training package. See, now here's a problem. Nova, come on. You see her constantly, and now she's getting upset. Nugent! Thank you. We're done for a little bit. So here I do two things. Go on, Nova Bean. Good girl. Now I waited until I was sure that I could get the leash and reinforce my out, because I wasn't positive he was going to out. So like timing, obviously important. And B, since he wasn't listening and he's fixating on Nova and he's not listening to her when she said repeatedly to stop, now we're on a timeout with me. And all that means is we're walking in a heel with me. We don't get freedom. We don't get to make life choices because we've just made a bad one. So he'll walk with me for a little bit and then I'll give him opportunity to show me he's better a little later. Like I'll just let him off again. Oh, and maybe I won't, because we're not healing very well and we're still fixating. Okay, so, or this is just him for the rest of walk, is practicing his leash skills with me, right? So, okay, tips for recall. So first one, obviously, food drive. Second one, obviously, marking. I have many videos on those, so just check about videos on food drive and marking system on the YouTube channel. Next, I'm going to say a great tool is a long line when you're working outside, but as always with every training thing, practice, practice, practice inside. Start there, do it more than you think you need to do it. Like, don't do it until they're like, oh, they got the concept and they do it one time. No, it's you do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. And then you move like to your backyard. Then you move out in front of the house and you just gradually increase the difficulty. And then you make sure that you enforce it in all these different areas. That's called proofing your command. So you make sure no matter what the distraction, if they're running with other dogs, if they're playing, if there's a good smell, as soon as you say the command, you get a response. And that's what the long line is for. Just like what I used it for with Newton to pull him out of that play, right? Like if he's not going to listen to me, he still has to listen to me. So, okay, I was hoping to demo, but I ran out of time. So I hope that answers your questions. And as always, if you have any more questions about this or any other video, you know what to do. Otherwise, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. At least as much fun as the Tucker, Cosmo, Maggie Zumi happening right now. And we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.